everybody. Here we go. Welcome back. Craig Peterson here. Hopefully you are enjoying the show today. As we go through some of the things in the tech world, we're going to actually talk about some non-security stuff a little bit from now. But frankly, because of what's been happening in Iran, I'm being a little bit heavy today, heavier than usual, in trying to go through all of this security stuff, because we got to understand this. You know, one of the articles I did not get to in the last segment that I wanted to make sure I brought up is that Iranian hackers have targeted the Trump campaign. I mentioned it in passing, frankly, but this is an absolutely huge thing because the 2020 elections are what now? It's in November, so 10 months away from now. And this is back in October, a statistic that Microsoft reported saying that they had seen 2,700 plus attempts to identify the email accounts of current and former United States government officials, journalists covering political campaigns, and accounts associated with a presidential campaign. That is, my friends, a very, very huge thing. Because frankly, when those bad guys start getting involved and start going after all of these accounts, they've got a door into politics. And this door into politics may be a lot more than you realize. Because what we're talking about here is the potential ability to track people. I don't think I got to this, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was. The New York Times was able to locate and follow President Trump based on information it was able to glean from open sources, in other words, from public information. And also found out the name of some of the Secret Service detail people, where they lived, their family information. So this is critical. You ask yourself, well, why would anyone care? 2,700 plus attempts to identify these people back in October. Well, once they're identified, you can figure out a lot more, because now you can get into the email accounts using social engineering. You might be able to get more information. Remember, President Obama, when he first became president, was using his BlackBerry that was not secured, because that's what he's used to using. President Trump had his phone that he was using. I can't remember. I think it was it an iPhone? I can't remember. Anyways, he had his phone that he was using. And we tend to carry multiple phones, and that's a bit of an issue too. You know, if you got the president, okay, so he's got his highly secured phone that he's using for his important emails and messages, etc. But is he also still carrying around his iPhone that he uses to tweet with? And if he is, what information does that give out? So Iran, this is back in October, we know was going after the Trump campaign. And today, it's, of course, gotten a little bit worse. Well, let's talk about another area of Iran's hacking. And this is about industrial control systems. Now, if you're not familiar with what these things are, industrial control systems are the computers that are used to control things like valves in industrial facilities. They control numerical machines that do the lathing and other types of things in an industrial area. Nowadays, everything is computer controlled. Now, some of these machines, I have a client, we had to put in special networks to protect them. A client who has Windows XP down on the manufacturing floor. And it's Windows XP because, again, it's what we talked about a couple of segments ago. It's older technology, operational technology that hasn't been updated. It's not broken. Don't fix it. And the manufacturers aren't going to update the control systems from Windows XP to Windows 10. They don't even provide patches for Windows XP systems. So what are you going to do if you're a manufacturer? Do you want to spend another 200 grand or more on a new piece of equipment, or are you going to stick with what you have? So we've got all of this critical infrastructure in manufacturing, but we also have critical infrastructure, for instance, in our hospitals. You probably know for 10 years I was a volunteer in EMS, emergency medical services. And in the back of our ambulance, I was using all kinds of equipment to monitor cardiac rhythms, to do defibrillations, to draw blood, to give D50 to help diabetics who are in a diabetic coma, if you will. So all of that equipment, when was the last time that was updated? When was the last time it was updated in the hospital? We know about problems with pacemakers in people's chests because there are security vulnerabilities. You know, these pacemakers now, oh, isn't this cool? We got Bluetooth. We can control the pacemaker. So you go in to see your doctor, and the doctor makes a couple of changes. You can make some minor changes as well, saying, hey, I'm about to exercise. I need to up my heart rate. Or my heart rate's going to get high, so don't shock me, right, with an auto defib unit. How about our water processing plants? We've got gates that go up and down to move water between one area and another. Same thing with fresh water as with black water, where we have our waste from our sewage systems that's being treated and being run through different channels and into ponds. Our electric systems, if you've got hydro systems, all of those gates move up and down, and they go through different turbines. It's moved around inside depending on how much power is needed, the time of day. Coal, you name it, electrical grid, all of the controls all the way across our electrical grid. One of the things I did when I was running the FBI's InfraGuard program is made sure we did training on these types of industrial control systems because they are so critical to our businesses. We have to understand these. We have to take care of them. We can no longer just say, well, it's working, we're not going to touch it anymore. So there was a CyberWar conference in Arlington, Virginia, just about 2 months ago. And Microsoft security researcher by the name of Ted Morin said that he found a shift in the activity of the Iranian hacker group. It's called APT-33 in this case, all known by a few other names. But Microsoft has watched the group carry out so-called password spraying attacks over the past year that try a few common passwords across user accounts at tens of thousands of organizations. And they're saying that the Iranians have narrowed its password spraying to about 2,000 organizations per month, more targets, different targets. And what are they trying to get at? They're trying to get at these industrial control systems. Do you know how we were able to really nail the Iranians with their nuclear ambitions? We had it's come out that it was us and the Israelis. We had come up with a virus, a very specific virus, that attacked their industrial control systems inside the nuclear refineries, where they're refining the yellow cake, basically. And we were able to destroy those. So they learned something from that. And the Iranians are destructive in their cyber world here, right? We talked about the wiper attacks they're doing during my Facebook lives this week and YouTube lives, how they're trying to destroy equipment. That's what they're really after. So this really represents, according to Microsoft, a very disturbing move as they moved on here. They haven't named any specific control systems. We know of some of them. In December of 2016, Russia used a piece of malware that briefly caused a blackout in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev. Some hackers deployed a piece of malware in Saudi Arabia in an oil refinery in 2017 designed to disable the safety systems, which is basically what we did to the Iranians. Some of those attacks had the potential to inflict physical harm as well as mayhem. So we've got to be very, very careful. If you are a business and you have control systems, make sure they are up to date. I can't say that enough. And make sure the manufacturer of the systems is providing you with patches. Demand the patches. Tell them Homeland Security says that they have to provide patches, because they can't expect you to replace all of these control systems. Part of the problem many businesses have is even finding all of these control systems that are out there. It gets to be really, really tough, frankly. What do we have? Are they up to date? What are they running? You know, I mentioned already the Windows XP control systems that some of my clients are still running, and they're slowly but surely upgrading some of their systems. So it's obviously a problem. Make sure you watch this week's Facebook Lives that I recorded this past week. They're recorded now, right? They were live when they were live. But you'll find them at craigpeterson.com/Facebook. I go into this Iranian problem a little bit more. I give you some solutions, some actionable steps that you can take. And if you don't like Facebook, you'll find them at craigpeterson.com/YouTube as well. And I really hope you do check them out. I think it's important. We got to understand this stuff, and we've got to make sure that we are taking care of the problem as we go forward. We've got more training coming up, but anyways, you'll find all of that. Make sure you're on my email list so you find out about all of these pop-up trainings, free trainings I'm doing. craigpeterson.com/subscribe. You're listening on WGAN and online.